Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to our second week of ICE TV. This week it looks and feels a little bit more like summer, which is delightful. So we have a jam-packed schedule for you today. So I'm going to kick straight off and introduce our very first guest to you, who you have met before, and that is the lovely Breanne Day from Yogi Tea. Breanne is the Canadian sales manager for Yogi Tea. She's worked in a variety of sales roles for purpose-driven companies and is passionate about the role that business plays in creating positive change for people and the planet. Yogi creates flavor-forward teas that support well-being. Their functional teas are designed to inspire and enhance everyday life and aim to help bring a moment of mindfulness to your day. Hello, Breanne. How are you?
There. I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. It's so good to see you again.
It's good to see you too. Last time we were here, I was making shortbread. So as a fan of summer, I'm happy to be doing iced tea today.
Wonderful. All right. So you are going to make, I think I read a cooler. Is that right?
Yes. So we're going to be making a mixed berry iced tea cooler.
Great.
So yeah, I think, in the summertime, sometimes you just want your drink to feel special. You're sitting out in the yard or on the patio. Maybe you want to maybe you want to add alcohol, maybe you don't, but you just want to create those special moments, I think, especially something refreshing. So this is kind of a perfect way to do that. So this iced tea cooler features our spiced blackberry focus tea, which is delicious. So what really makes this tea special is its cognitive claim. So we use a nootropic called bacopa, and it's really in the same family of herbs that just really enhance mental clarity. So things like caffeine and things like that would also be considered in the same family. Mm-hmm. But this is really good for reducing anxiety, thinking, learning, memory, mental clarity. I mean, don't we all want all of that?
Yeah. I'm like, check. Sign me up and send over a curtain.
Exactly. Well, I know where you live, so I'll send this. But it's been used for centuries in Ayurveda. And so that's where a lot of our formulation comes from is traditional Ayurvedic formulas. And so that's what we're using here. So the bacopa itself is really beautiful. It's got a little white flower and kind of a heart-shaped leaf. So that's what we use here today. And aside from that, it just really tastes good. And I'll get into why that is as well. Okay. But the first thing you're going to do is take just a pitcher, anything you've got in your house, and then muddle some blackberries. So I've got a cup of fresh blackberries. Mm-hmm. Put those in there. And then half a cup of raspberries. This recipe is really good for, you can see mine look a little muddled already at the bottom. So if there's things that are, it's the end of the week, you're using up some of that fruit that needs to get used up. This is a great recipe for that.
That is such a good tip because I have a really bad habit of buying berries, thinking that, oh yeah, I'm going to eat all of these mountains and mountains of berries. And then, there's always that little bit at the bottom that just doesn't look so happy anymore, right?
Hey, and I feel like you could just make a personal size of this too if you were to muddle it up in the bottom. So all about kind of reducing food waste too and doing our best to use up what we've got. The last ingredient we've got here right now is a teaspoon and a half of lemon juice. Okay. We'll pour that in. I sort of feel like lemon juice is like garlic. You just measure it with your heart and just go for it. So we're going to muddle that up, make sure we get all of that mixed together. And then there's a couple options here. Once it's kind of looking like a little bit of a jam mixture, at the bottom of your pitcher here.
Perfect. Okay.
You're going to grab 4 tea bags. So this is going to be a bit of a concentrated,
Yeah.
you know, version.
Yeah.
So 4 of your tea bags, place them in the pitcher. And then what I did today is a little bit different than the recipe, just for the sake of time. But what we're going to do is pour that boiling water, 2 cups of water, right on top of your tea bags and your muddled berries. So you can just grab that and pour 2 cups right over top.
Okay.
You're going to pour that in there and let it sit in the fridge. And
Okay.
now, so that we can enjoy this right away today, I made a little bit yesterday for the sake of time.
Yeah.
And right here, you can see how beautiful that color is in that.
So thick. Yeah, it's rich, huh?
It really is rich. So what's in here is also cinnamon, licorice, clove, nutmeg. And so those really all those warming spices are make it a great hot tea. So it's delicious hot. But the blackberry and the hibiscus flowers that we have in there give it a light, bright, fruity kind of flavor. So we're gonna pour that in. Now, I'm all about ease in the summer, and finding ease in my life wherever I can find it.
Me too.
So, you know, this is one of those things where use what you have on hand. You don't have to make it too complicated. If you've got strawberries, if you've got blueberries, that will work too.
Yeah.
So next you're going to want to taste this and see what you think in terms of sweetness. If you like it a little sweeter, you can add some sugar or some honey. I kind of like it as is, so I'm not going to add that in today. And then you're just going to take a nice tall glass, fill it with ice, pour that about 3/4 of the way full.
Okay.
And then to give it that something that feels special, that bubbly water, that refreshingness. So any kind of club soda or seltzer water that you want there. And then just top with some more fruit, some blackberries, some raspberries, little straw, and enjoy. I mean, I just feel like the color just is so gorgeous.
Pretty. It's one of the things that I love about iced teas is that vibrant red that fruit teas always have. And I guess if you want to adult that, instead of the club soda, you could add some Prosecco on top of it.
Yes. Yeah. I think that would be a great, might be trying that for, when is it? 5 o'clock. Might be trying that later this afternoon.
Oh, Breanne, it's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you've got your kid friendly and your adult friendly version. But we really think this is a specialty, and I'm so glad that we have a way to share it in a nice version and enjoy it in the summer.
I love it. So, Breanne, you did mention your blends are sort of based around Ayurveda. Explain to everybody in, you know, as few words as possible, what is Ayurveda?
So Ayurveda is like the sister science to yoga. So if you think about how long yoga has been around in terms of movement and the principles, Ayurveda are a set of principles that go alongside it in terms of food and drink and body composition, I guess. So in very simplified version, if you think about how your body, warming aspects, cooling aspects, different foods can be warming, different personalities and different people may need more warming or cooling depending on their disposition. And so one portion of Ayurveda is depending on how you eat, something like ginger. Ginger is going to be a warming herb. If you're a pretty fiery person and tend to react really quickly, you might need something with the ginger to help sort of balance it. And so that's how we look at our formulations is we have a balanced approach to the herbs that we put in to ensure that they're kind of appropriate for anybody to consume.
Perfect. I love it. So you are a global company. We've got some, you and I are talking in Canada, but we've got our fan club in Germany on the line. And we've got Irene from Virginia Beach as well, and Katie's in Canada. I'm sure there are people from other places. Your products are available in Europe as well as North America, right? So anybody can grab these.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. We have, that's right, all over North America. In Canada, we have a set that is teas that are Canadian teas. We have our US teas, a significantly amount more. And then we've got all of our European teas. We were just all together for a big global summit. So it was really great to see everybody come together, try teas from different countries, see what kind of resonates with different countries as well. And so I can pretty much guarantee wherever you are in the world, you could probably find a box of Yogi Tea.
I've reached an age where I actually, when I travel, I like going into supermarkets to see how other people eat.
Oh, I think that's probably one of my number one pastimes when I travel, to be honest.
Yeah.
It is fascinating. I was just walking around a grocery store in Hamburg and checking out what they have on the shelf, and it's how foods are packaged, and it's so interesting. Yeah, definitely a grocery nerd over here.
Me too. So love the recipe. I love the reusing of, berries that, may not look as lovely as the first day that you bought it, and that muddling. And, kid friendly, adult it up, whatever way that you want it. And I'll tell you what I love the most, Breanne, is that you're calling it a cooler. And I'm going to tell you why. So I'm on this campaign right now to try to get people to see what you've got in your hand is not something that we only have to do when it's hot out, right? And Americans are very much have embraced, iced teas, and they'll drink it all year round. It's no different than a soda or water or whatever else. But the rest of the world, we're not quite there yet. And we tend to think of iced tea as only a summer thing, but it's a thirst quencher, right?
It is. Yeah, it's one of those treat yourself occasions, right? Where you're looking for something in maybe that afternoon pick me up to kind of give you a little boost. And again, those moments, like we talk about this a lot, those moments that feel like you just get a little breather in the busyness and the chaos. And I feel like, to your point, like something iced, we haven't embraced the iced movement, I think, as much as we could. And there's so many opportunities to feel like doing something special for yourself and really embrace that wellness too.
We tend to think of products as, especially our products in the tea industry, as seasonal. Hot tea month is in January, iced tea month is in June, which is fine. I get it. Like it's for promotion and stuff. I understand that. But as a consumer, if I think of the way that I consume beverages, I drink hot beverages 12 months out of the year, and I drink cold beverages 12 months out of the year, right? So, thinking about it, I think in those terms is not a bad thing for people to try to, convert the way that they look at some products.
I agree. And speaking back to ease, I think part of those things are sometimes having things prepared, right? Makes things a lot easier. So sometimes what I do is I just have, it's summertime. I mean, this could be, to your point, this could be all year round. But I just have a batch of cold brewed tea in the fridge. So however I want to drink it, whatever I want to mix it with, I can have it available, and it doesn't, there's no process. There's nothing that's slowing me down from just enjoying that and enjoying that whenever I want to have it. Yeah.
Perfect. Rochelle is asking you to please just repeat what tea you use. Can you hold up the box and tell everybody what you use again?
So can you see that? This is our Spice Blackberry Focus. So again, it really supports alertness, clarity, and concentration with the Bacopa, but then it's got that delicious blackberry, hibiscus, fruity flavor with the warming spices. So We just launched this. It's brand new. And so we're really excited to get it out into the world and get more people trying it. And you'll start to see it very, very soon at a lot of your favorite retailers.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, lovely Breanne. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. And you had me at alertness and cognitive anything. So the more, the better. Thank you.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for having me today. So happy to be here.
It's good seeing you. You take care.
You too. Take care. Bye now.
Bye. All right. Delicious, delicious, delicious. And you know, I mean, we talk about delicious and we talk about ease, and it is easy, right? I mean, we talked to you, I think, last week about the two most fundamental ways for you to make iced tea. One is to do exactly the way that Breanne just showed you, and that's to make an extra strong concentration because she was adding, you know, the club soda on top of it. It's going to dilute, so you want it a little bit stronger, and just pop that in your fridge and pop your uncle. Method number two is to make it really, really strong with hot water and then top it up with ice, and the ice will dilute it immediately and cool it down really quickly. So, you know, make a pitcher, put it in your fridge, and there's really no excuse to not be drinking good for you iced tea any time of the year. So that brings me to our second guest. Another favorite on our Iced TVs and Entertaining with Teas is Tory Miller. Tory is the CEO of Vic Jo Tea Company and a certified tax tea sommelier. Vic Jo Tea Company is a celebration of all things tea, from curating special tea moments in your life, wearing your love for tea in their apparel collection, and providing fun, interactive ways to educate those who are just starting their tea journey. Hello, Tory. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm really good. It's so good to see you.
You too. Happy Iced Tea Month.
Happy Iced Tea Month indeed. So you, my love, are going to make a cocktail. So, of course, you know, always a special place in my heart, right? We see each other.
Yeah.
But you are using one of my favorite ingredients, and that's Haskap.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna hand it over to you, but please tell us what you're using and tell everybody what Haskap is, because it is a Canadian product and it is delicious.
Yes, and I've been learning more about it. So I will dive into that. But yes, I did realize you and we always have in common. So probably not surprising that I'm making a cocktail today. My segments tend to be alcohol based. You can also try this as a mocktail too. But this actually was inspired by, I wanted to make something similar to like a pisco sour. One of my friends just got back from Peru. I've tried pisco sours before at like cocktail bars, but it's definitely like a liquor that I don't use at home or wouldn't have on my shelf. And then because I live here in the Okanagan, of course, I wanted to use some sort of our fresh fruit. And here, as people may know, like we had a rough winter with the freeze and thaw.
Yeah.
But one of the nice things about Haskaps is they are actually designed and withstand like fairly cold weather. So right now is Haskap harvest season. Started about a week ago here and will go for a few more weeks. But these beautiful little berries, you want to look closely, I didn't really know about until like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, so I discovered them on the East Coast. I thought it was an East Coast thing. I didn't realize it was, you had them on the West Coast as well. So they kind of look like, I don't know, I don't want to say blueberries, but that's the closest I can think of. But they taste different.
I always think of them, I think they look like a weird shaped blueberry in a sense.
Exactly.
But they taste different than a blueberry.
Yeah.
They have like, almost taste more like a combination of like a blueberry and a raspberry together.
Yeah.
But so fun fact, I learned a little bit about the history of them yesterday.
Okay.
So my friends have a Haskap farm. So shout out to Whitfield Farms for these berries. But they were brought in from like Siberia originally into Canada through the University of Saskatchewan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They grow really well here in our climate. So this is fun facts about Haskaps today as well.
We're gonna have to send a thank you to the University of Saskatchewan.
right? And there's tons of, I don't know what the ones out east look like, but there's a ton of different types. So these ones are called Auroras. They're a little bit bigger.
Okay.
And these ones, which I'm making the cocktail with today, are called Treats. And who doesn't love a treat?
Okay.
And just their flavor is a little bit more complex. It's super tart, which is what I wanted. So they're great for cooking. So yeah, so that was the inspiration for today. So I'll just tell you a little bit about how I created this. So the most important part first was I needed to make a Haskap simple syrup with it.
Yeah.
So very easy. I just use a cup of Haskap, sugar, and water. Boiled that and reduced it, and then strained out the skins, which I am excited to use on pancakes this weekend also.
Oh, clever as you. Okay.
Always save it. So I ended up with a nice jar of thick Haskap syrup to use in the cocktail today.
Okay.
As my base, and I experimented with a few teas, but I ended up choosing white tea, Pai Mu Tan or Pai Mu Tan, or as colloquially we know it, white peony.
Yeah.
And this has been one of my go-to teas lately. I'm sure people always ask you, like, what's your favorite tea, Chef?
Yes.
And you're like, can't choose because you have favorites, but I always say you're in like a season or mood of certain teas.
Sorry, my response usually is, I'll tell you my favorite tea if you tell me who your favorite child is.
Oh. And do they ever respond?
No, that's the point. How do you choose? It depends. I mean, I'm sure they have one, but at that moment, right? Might change tomorrow.
So I'm in a season of white tea in my life.
Okay.
So I did want something that's lighter so that the flavors and the tartness could stand out a little bit in this cocktail. But because we know white tea is very delicate, what I did is I actually iced it, but I doubled the amount of leaves I put in the brew.
Okay.
So same steeping temperature, and like same, you're not brewing it for any longer, just more tea to get a slightly more concentrated flavor profile. And then we're adding in something else today to this cocktail, which is very popular, which is yuzu. Have you played with yuzu a lot? Okay, she likes yuzu too. And I'm dressed like a yuzu today also for this segment. So yuzu's, I'm sure most of you have maybe heard of it. It's a citrus fruit from Asia, very popular in Japanese cuisine, excellent with matcha also. But anyways, now it's a little bit more accessible to get here in Canada. So we've used yuzu juice, and actually I created my yuzu juice with, Costco now has yuzu, almost like a honey jam.
It's a top food trend, which is why you can find yuzu much more readily than you ever used to.
Yeah, which is so great. And pisco sour traditionally is made with lemon and lime juice. So I'm just substituting the citrus in that with the yuzu instead today. So fairly simple recipe. It'll be online as well, but I'm just basically mixing, and you can choose how much pisco you want to put in it. I do 2 ounces because I like that. You could do 1 if you're not as into it. Pisco is actually a brandy, so it's made with grapes. So again, it has like a little bit of a like fruity floral. It has a muscatel note to it too. And you can get it in the liquor stores, and the different types have different notes. So just if you want to have it a certain way. This one I chose because it's fairly smooth, and some of them have more evergreen or pine notes in them, and I didn't want that in there. So I put in 2 ounces of the pisco. I'm putting in 1 ounce of the Haskap syrup, and I'm going to put in 1 ounce of the yuzu juice as well. Because we like foamy cocktails, I'm also using half an egg white.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you're doing a proper sour.
I'm trying to. I'm not.
That's a proper sour is with egg white. Yeah.
And then just also a dash of bitters in there too. And if you don't have that, that's totally fine as well. And then one of the things is we need to do a dry shake first to get the egg white foaming.
Yep.
And then we're going to add ice, and we are going to pour it in our cup. So just one of the things, if you're working with Haskaps, and this is why I'm in the kitchen today doing this, because it's a bit messier and they do stain. So you just have to be mindful of that. So shaking that up, I'm going to add in that. And I'm going to put in about a half a cup of my iced tea. There we go. And then we're going to shake it up again. And so something you can do before is freeze some Haskap berries as well. And so we're going to
good idea
to float,
yes,
which are going to like melt and absorb the flavor of the cocktail too. So they will be a tasty little treat. You can use I love like a coupe glass, or if you have fancy fun cups too for summer. But however you decide to take your cocktail, you can use, see, it comes out this beautiful color.
Oh, what a gorgeous color. And that's all from the Haskap, huh?
All from the Haskap.
Beautiful.
And then I can throw in a few of the frozen berries just to float it. I like to use a little mint sprig. And then you can serve your beautiful drink.
Oh, delicious. I wish. Wonderful. So, lucky you. So, okay, so for our non-Canadian friends who probably won't be able to get Haskap, you could modify your recipe by using blueberries.
Definitely.
Right? I'd probably maybe sweeten it a little bit because I think Haskap is sweeter than blueberries.
Much sweeter. Yeah. And the ones that I use, the treats, are also extra sweet. So this syrup is basically like, even with the yuzu as well, like this is a very sweet cocktail. So you have to enjoy sugar. Yeah.
And then for anybody who can't get a hold of yuzu, I find lime is a good alternative. I don't think lemon, I think lime is closer to yuzu than lemon is. So those are some modifications for those of you listening. If you can't get Haskap, well, you won't be able to unless you're in Canada, that I can guarantee you. Sorry, but that's the way it is.
Then we'll make you a cocktail.
Yeah, exactly. We're all going to Tory's house. And if you can't find yuzu, then replace it with lime. And if you want to make this kid friendly, you can, and just leave out the pisco, right? I mean, delicious. Just the tea, the Haskap simple syrup, and the yuzu, and you can shake it up with even the egg whites.
Yeah, and it's so lovely. Like the tea flavor really comes through in this as well. And so like that's one of my favorite things about it is you actually get to taste the tea in your cocktail.
You actually get to taste the tea. Which is amazing if you think about, all of these really strong flavors that you've mixed it with, right? I mean, it says a lot about the Pai Mu Tan that you've put into it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, always a pleasure. I can see the beautiful foam from here on your cup. Enjoy and take a sip for me, please, and savor it thoroughly.
It's never too early to start drinking out west.
This of course is true, but I still have a little bit of iced TV left today, and I have a couple of meetings afterwards, so I might have to refrain just a little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thanks for joining us again, and I hope to see you soon.
Take care.
Bye. Take care. Oh, delicious. I love when people use flavors that are a little bit different. Now, again, as I said, don't be alarmed that we're going on and on about Haskap, which is such a Canadian thing. You can substitute. And if you don't like blueberries, I think blackberries would also be a really good substitution for Haskap. All right. So with that, I am going to roll straight on because I said we have a very busy schedule today. And our third guest, again, is a regular with us, the wonderful Katie Sear. Katie founded Monarch Tea in 2014 with the vision of bringing together the traditional elegance of tea time with a modern twist. She currently offers her bespoke tea online and in select retailers across the United States and Canada, while additionally offering interactive virtual tea and in-person tea workshops that have been taught worldwide. Katie has worked with clients such as Cartier, New York Times, Google, Spotify, and more. You can also find her offering free tea talks to senior centers and volunteering with Meals on Wheels in Hamilton. She's the winner of the first Ontario One Award, Hamilton Chamber of Commerce Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award, Desjardins Good Spark Grant, and more. Katie's also a certified TAC tea sommelier and the instructor for the Tea and Herbal Association of Canada's in-person tea sommelier classes in Toronto. Hi, Katie. How are you?
Hi, Shabnam. How are you? I'm great, thank you.
I'm really good. Thank you so much. Nice to see you.
Yay! Excited to be making something iced today instead of a cold Christmas beverage. It's nice to be in summer, my favorite season.
It is, and you know what? It actually is feeling like summer right now, which is even nicer.
It's beautiful here. Yeah, I know we're not too far from each other, and it's sunny and hot, so it's the perfect day to be celebrating with an iced tea.
It is indeed. So you're making two different teas for us, or two different beverages for us today.
I'm actually making one, but two variations of it. So I'll kind of
okay, sure.
Yes.
Oh, no,
Yes.
of course you are. You're doing the rhubarb.
Variations, ways to play with rhubarb today.
Perfect. I love it. So I have to confess, I'm not a fan of rhubarb.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I can convert you after today.
But my husband loves it.
Interesting. Okay. It's funny.
Yeah.
I assumed you being a gin person might like rhubarb because it has a little bit of heart. So interesting. I think it's love or hate for a lot of folks.
I'm going to tell you why.
Mm.
So I suspect that I'm going to love it in your beverage.
Mm.
I don't like the texture of cooked rhubarb.
Okay. Yeah, that like stewed, mushy.
Sliminess
Mm-hmm.
doesn't do it for me. So, but the flavors and like a juice and stuff, I love. So take it away.
Okay. Awesome. So today we are making a iced rhubarb tea, and then we're going to kind of show in a variation at the end to make it into a cocktail with gin. So again, that's where I hope I can convert you. But welcome. I'm going to start off today by showing you're going to need 4 cups of just regular water, have that measured out. We're also going to take 4 cups of rhubarb. I just have some chopped up here as an example. Folks, rhubarb generally is going to come out here in Canada in spring or summer. You can find it at a farmer's market, which is where I bought mine, or at the grocery store. It often comes in long stalks. Sometimes there's going to be the green leaf on top. We don't want to use the green leaf. We want to discard that. When researching rhubarb, I found out that leaf is poison. So we absolutely don't want to do that leaf. But the stalks themselves, we're just going to kind of roughly chop up. I found for myself 4 stalks equaled roughly 4 cups. I have a couple that I put aside here to show some example. We're also going to take half a lemon and squeeze that out into a juice. That's going to roughly make about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So we'll set that aside. Now, the part about sweetness, that is personal preference. The first time I made this recipe, I'd used half a cup. It's lovely, but it is quite sweet, kind of similar to Tory saying her Haskap cocktail is quite sweet. So I found what I love about this recipe, you can customize it. So this time around, I'm going to use 1/4 cup. I'll play with that, see how I like it, but you can always add more or less. So in the printed recipe books, we'll see I've given kind of the option anywhere from 1/4 cup to half a cup. You can play around based on personal preference, but today we're using 1/4 cup of sugar. You're also going to take a black tea of choice. Today we're using the Monarch Tea Co English Breakfast. I love anything rich and malty for this. You can use it loose, or you can use those biodegradable tea bags, and I've just kind of pre-measured roughly about 6 grams. Alternatively, any tea bags, black tea bags you have lying around, roughly 2 tea bags will work for this recipe.
But you want a strong black tea, right?
Exactly, a nice strong black tea. I wouldn't use a Darjeeling in this case. I want something that's going to really stand up, and I'll show you why shortly.
Great.
We're going to have all those items in place. Then you're going to take a nice good pot there. You're going to pour your 4 cups of water directly into the pot. You're also going to pop those roughly 4 cups of rhubarb directly into the pot.
Okay.
Pop this on the stove, and we want to let this first come to a boil. After it's come to a boil, let it simmer just on low and time it for roughly 20 minutes.
Okay.
Now, what's going to happen, of course, the thing you don't love, Shabnam, is the rhubarb is slowly going to be stewed and really, really soft. What that's doing is it's softening those really tough stalks. It is going to become a little more palatable if someone chose to eat that straight, but it's also going to slowly start to infuse our water and almost make a little bit of a tisane in a way. So it's going to start kind of a little bit of an interesting rhubarb brew right into our pot.
Right.
Leave that for 20 minutes. After those 20 minutes have passed, what I'm going to do is take either my loose leaf tea bags, or tea measured out into a little biodegradable bag, pop that right in. So now I'm literally sticking my black tea in with that rhubarb.
Okay.
It's going to slowly make a really interesting infusion as the black tea steeps into that rhubarb infusion. What I do is I set my timer for 3 minutes, so I'm making sure I control how long that black tea is steeping.
Okay.
After those 3 minutes have passed, I just want to get a sturdy, I like to use like a porcelain bowl, nice and thick. We don't want anything glass, just because it's going to be quite hot. You're also going to want to grab a big strainer, that over, and then the fun part is we're going to pour this right over and literally slowly strain out all of the rhubarb and the black tea.
Right. Okay.
That's going to be left behind in our strainer, and then in my pot, I'm going to have that infusion.
Okay.
The next part is this is still quite hot. That's where I'm then adding my 1/4 cup of sugar.
Okay.
And my 2 teaspoons or 2 tablespoons roughly of lemon right into the hot brew. And I'm taking a spoon and slowly starting to stir that.
Okay.
That hot water is causing the sugar to dissolve. And as we know, rhubarb on its own is very, very tart. So generally when we're using in baking and different elements, that sugar is going to help make the rhubarb a little more palatable. And that's how we kind of be able to enjoy the flavors of rhubarb without the intense tart taste. What that's then going to do is make a really unique hot pink brew. I then let this sit on the counter for about a couple hours, and that's going to cool it down. Then I'll pop it in the refrigerator.
Okay.
After a couple hours, pop some ice in a cup, and with the magic of TV, I have my beautiful finished product. And
look at that color.
This makes a beautiful hot pink color. And
look at that color. That's gorgeous.
And absolutely, you know, in this case, usually we see this in tisanes when we're using like hibiscus or rose hip. But I was shocked that simply from rhubarb and black tea, it made an absolutely stunning color. And I'm actually taking a bit of, rhubarb, a bit of dehydrated lime, popping that on top. You could also do a slice of fresh lemon on here, which would contrast so nicely with the hot pink color.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm sold on that, because the taste of rhubarb I'm on board for. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Because you like the taste, but you don't love the texture, right? Now, the fun thing about this is on its own, the sensation that I'm getting right now is almost like a sweet tart. So I'm getting, of course, the sweetness from the sugar, but there's that yummy tart sensation. I know you always talk about that puckery mouthfeel.
Yeah.
And what I love is it's thirst quenching, but it's something you could sip on a patio. I poured this earlier into a pitcher. Last night when I was serving it, and it just looked so beautiful. And what I love about rhubarb is a conversation starter. It's kind of fun. It's something that's unique and in season here. Yeah. And so you could even garnish maybe this with an extra stalk of rhubarb if you're having it in a pitcher, maybe with some strawberries or lemon. And the color is going to look beautiful. I mentioned there was a second variation. So what I also did, it's very simple variation, but I took some of my favorite gin. So this is an Ontario gin here called Hidden Temple. And I poured about an ounce of gin, pour that right over my ice. And what I liked with the gin in this is it actually helps balance some of the sweetness. Again, there's that tart, botanical type flavor happening in here. And this is already so kind of sweet and tart on its own that I did not even taste the gin, which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but it was one of those ones where you could
that's dangerous.
Exactly. You could drink stuff. So, cheers, Shabnam. Thank you. And that is our iced rhubarb cocktail.
Cheers to you. That's absolutely delicious. I love that you cook the rhubarb, like you steep the tea directly into your rhubarb mixture, right? And as you said, like you can just make that, pop that in the fridge and then use it as you want, right? You can use it as a concentrate, right?
Exactly. So it's fun because we talk about like tisanes generally being like a dried fruit or like a lemongrass or cinnamon, things like that. But it was interesting to physically make a rhubarb tea. I know it's technically not a tea, but using the liquid that comes out of that fresh rhubarb, but then additionally adding an actual, Camellia sinensis tea to that and creating that kind of fun play on rhubarb in both black tea with the contrast of this, the tart and sweet nature of that rhubarb tisane.
That's fantastic. And as you said, you can adjust the sweetness the way that you want, right? So if you wanted to cut some of the tartness that you're talking about, if that's not your thing, you can cut that a little bit.
What I like is all of this can be customized. So if you prefer lime juice instead, if you want to use less sugar or even extra sweet, I have yet to play around with other teas, but I would say you could even try this with maybe a favorite tisane. It might just up the tart flavor, but play around with your black teas. I would even be fun to try like a pu'er or even something crazy. I haven't tried it, but it would be interesting to try maybe a hint of lapsang in there, get a bit of like the smoky. So I don't know. But I feel like there's ways you could play around with your tea and what you chose to steep right in here. Maybe even a nice green tea may work. So it's a recipe that we have kind of its set standard to it, but you can play around and add different things to your own custom version of it.
And you're working with what's seasonal, right? I mean, we are at the end of the day in rhubarb season. We're very fortunate in this country that, we have got access to seasonal fruits and veg at the times when you're supposed to be eating them. And I mean, really, there's nowhere that you can't find either a farmer's market at this point or fresh produce, even in small supermarkets. So.
Exactly. You could even additionally add like some Ontario strawberries to this, either in the finished product after just kind of floating in the glass. So there's other ways you can introduce local produce and fresh fruit and veg into this and have some fun with how you're going to present this to your guests.
Perfect. And strawberry totally makes sense, right? I mean, the classic rhubarb mix is strawberry and rhubarb, right?
Exactly. Folks could also add vodka to this as well, or even I could see this going well with a tequila. So again, you don't have to do it. You could play around with this in different ways at home and serve a unique cocktail with your favorite liquor.
Okay, I'm going to make rhubarb this weekend.
Yay! Okay, I challenge you, and then you can serve this to your husband and try it yourself and see.
I love it. That I know.
Yay! Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, Katie. It's always lovely to see you, and thanks for sharing something new and delicious with us.
Awesome. Thanks for having me back, Shabnam. Happy sipping.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, Katie. Bye. What yummy, delicious combinations. Thank you to Katie. I'm going to introduce our next guest to you, and our next guest is a first-timer on ICE TV, and she is Amanda Stella Harrison. Amanda is a certified TAC tea sommelier. She's also a passionate beekeeper. You know I'm going to be talking to her about beekeeping, who focuses on the spiritual side of tea and bees. She views tea as a beautiful elixir that can not only offer up amazing health benefits, but can teach you to sit and be present for a moment to heal and transform yourself in a profound way. She owns Wicked Botanicals, love the name, which is a manifestation and intention-inspired loose leaf tea company, which also offers honey and tea leaf readings. Hello, Amanda. How are you?
Hello, I'm well. How are you?
I'm really good. It's lovely to see you, and thank you for joining us.
I'm thrilled to be here. Absolutely thrilled. It's my pleasure.
Okay, so honey and tea are a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
We did a survey at SAC a number of years ago asking tea drinkers what their sweetener of choice was for tea, and the number one answer, bar none, was honey.
Yes, and so it should be.
Right?
So it should be, at least in my opinion. Absolutely.
Well, you're definitely not alone. So tell us, I think you're making a few different ones for us today.
I am. I'm making two.
One of them is a sour, right? And the other is a peachy ginger iced tea. So I'm going to hand over to you and take it over. Show us what you're making.
Okay, brilliant. So yes, just as you mentioned, one is a berry sour and the other is a peachy ginger. So we're going to start with the berry sour, and okay. I make this as easy as possible, as quick as possible. Okay. I'm a mom, so the faster I can make an iced tea, the better, right? So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do the berry sour today, for anybody that wants to do something so quick and on the fly, right?
Okay.
So The berry sour that we have. So just as you had mentioned, my company is very much manifestation and intention inspired. So each ingredient that's in tea has a correspondence to a spiritual or energetic meaning. So we have put the berry sour as our creativity. So we get to play around with it and experiment in any way possible to pull out our creativity. But we're going to make it pretty easy today, pretty quick, pretty fast, okay? So I'm going to show you 2 ways that are essentially the same that you can use the berry sour today, all right?
Okay.
So this is actually my favorite. So I basically mix the berry sour with ginger ale. Mix it with ginger ale and just make it super, super easy. It's quick. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to make some sort of fancy concoction. It's just basically 2 ingredients and a voila. So one of them will be made with ginger ale, which has already a bit of sweetness to it. Yeah. And the other one will just simply be made with sparkling water for those that don't want any extra sugar in their tea.
Easy peasy.
So we have these fancy handy dandy little bags. So I'm just going to pop one of these bags in each cup. One simply gets filled with the ginger ale. While the other gets filled with San Pellegrino.
Love it. So both sparkly, 1 sugar, 1 no sugar.
Yeah.
Amanda, can you tell us what's in the berry sour?
Yeah, absolutely. So the berry sour, there's only 3 ingredients. It's elderberry, currants, and hibiscus.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Also easy, but I mean, it tastes amazing, right?
Okay. And the sour is gonna come from the hibiscus in there.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It does have a sweetness, of course, but it's a bit tart. The currants help with that. So essentially, this is what it looks like. But what I like to do is steep mine for at least 10 minutes. The longer that you can steep this in particular, the more flavorful it is. So I will leave it aside for 10 minutes and just do its thing, right? So this is essentially just ginger ale and creativity berry sour, right? We're going to do a little bit more with this later, though. I'm going to let it for 10 minutes and then focus on the peachy ginger. But this is how you make the simplest iced tea: ginger ale and berry sour.
You steep it directly in the ginger ale. I love that. Kayla says she's drinking one right now and she mixes it with Sprite.
Amazing. Yeah, you can do it. I love ginger ale, but you can do Sprite. I have a friend that does it with Coke, so it almost has like a cherry Coke flavor to it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And that's how she does it. Easy. She's not normally a tea drinker, but that she will have, right? So as the time, and you can even see the color just start to pop.
Yeah. The color is instant, isn't it? I love that. That's perfect. And you said 10 minutes, right?
10 minutes. So I will basically let it steep for 10 minutes. I don't even have to. 10 minutes, I'll steep it that long, but I will make sure we have some time so I can show you where we're at by that stage.
Okay.
Oh, we're just going to put these guys off, and then we're going to make the peachy ginger. So peachy ginger, our peachy ginger is power, and essentially the correspondence for ginger is power. So that's why we have named the peachy ginger power, right?
Nice.
And this one takes a little bit longer. So I will basically brew a pot of tea.
Okay.
And I'll just use, there's the loose leaf there. I will just essentially use a pot spoon, right?
Okay.
I like mine extra flavorful, so I'll use 2 just to get a little extra power in there, right? Put it in.
And this is a black tea base.
It is a black tea base, yes.
Great.
While the creativity is simply fruit, this one is a black tea base. And I will just basically put this in.
So have you converted your kids to iced tea?
Yes and no. They actually are still really little that they're still drinking milk.
Oh gosh, okay.
I have a 1-year-old, so yeah, we're not quite there yet. My 3-year-old does like black tea, so she gets it in little spoonfuls though, because she comes and snags it from me. But that's as far as we've gone so far.
All right, okay, you have time.
Yeah, yeah. So as with any black tea, we steep it for 3 minutes, right? And what I do is the honey comes in to play in this tea.
Okay, I was waiting for the honey.
Yeah, it's actually, so it's my honey from my bees. So it has a little extra magic in it. And basically the honey that we are using today is actually from my hive. So it's extra exciting.
You're gonna have to tell us about your honey journey as well. So, but finish this first.
Yeah, no, the honey journey has been absolutely amazing. I love tea, but bees are actually my passion in life. I love it. I just light up every time that I have to talk about it. Bees are they're the most amazing creatures that I have been able to work with, and I absolutely love them. So I've been beekeeping since 2017, both hobby and commercially.
Right.
And I love it. I absolutely love it. They all have their own specific personalities. And because you have to go into the bee yard with a certain aura, it very much is emotional therapy. So anything that's bothered you throughout the day, anything that you're thinking about, you just have to let it all go and just cleanse it, just release it, and go in with this grounded, relaxed state. Because if you don't, the bees will know, and then they'll start, trying to pester you, wondering, what are you here for if you've got heightened emotions? So it has been the most magical journey that I have been on. I absolutely love bee magic in every single way.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How did that happen? How did you get into honey? Bees, sorry, not honey.
To be forthcoming, I basically woke up one day and was like, I want bees. I'm just going to go and do this. And so I purchased my first hive. I purchased 2 at once. And then I found a truck because I didn't have a truck myself. I found a truck and I went and picked up my bees, and I still didn't have a bee suit. There was a lot of things that I didn't have, including equipment, but I just was like, I know I meant to do this, which for me is quite odd. I like to have a plan A, B, and C and have it out. With this, it was something I knew I was meant to do. And it was the greatest leap of faith that I had ever taken besides working with tea.
Good for you.
Yeah, so I just did it.
Good for you.
Yeah, and here I am all these years later, and now my passion is in queen rearing specifically.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. All right, so what I'll do now is I put the honey in right after I take out the loose leaf tea. The honey is much easier, obviously, to stir in the hot tea than in the cold tea, so I make sure to do that step. And I like everything sweet, so I put in a 1/4 cup of honey. But
oh my gosh,
oh yeah, I like it sweet.
you do. Okay.
I like it really sweet. I don't have any other sugar in my life. This is it.
Okay.
So I pack it in. If it wants to have less, then obviously it's to taste. But for my purposes, because I will be the one drinking this later, we're going to do a 1/4 cup of honey.
1/4 cup of honey. Okay.
So I just basically pour the honey in. And don't waste any.
Yeah, I tend to do that with honey as well. It's my sweetener of choice. I do admit I have a lot more honey in my house than anything else.
Oh, me as well.
Yeah, you I would expect.
So I will obviously just kind of give it a good stir. Make sure that everything is completely mixed in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will chill it in the fridge overnight. That's what you obviously can chill it and like put it in the fridge until it's cold, or if you want to add ice to it, that's perfect. Yeah. But my jam is I'm just gonna make it, put it in the fridge,
easy,
to bed, and get it in the morning. Okay?
Easy.
So this is essentially what it is cold.
Okay.
So it's already cold. And then If you want it non-alcoholic, but with a bit more punch, I just put peaches in it, and then I just eat the peaches.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, of course you do. Why not?
So I've got some fresh peaches. Take like 2. I think 2 is a good number today. We're gonna say 2. And basically, that is the peachy ginger iced tea.
Perfect. Delicious. Love
The
it.
cocktail version. However, if you wanted to make it a cocktail, I would suggest putting whiskey in it. Whiskey, some
That's a good combination.
liquor. The spices will start to come out. So a spicy whiskey would be good.
Yeah.
I, for today's purposes, just simply have Canadian
Club, CC.
Easy.
Perfect. That's a really good combination. I love it. And what I would do is I would even freeze those peaches and pop it in so that it chills it.
Yes, I didn't even think about that. That's brilliant.
Right, and then you don't have anything diluting.
So the next thing will be frozen peaches.
Frozen peaches.
So I'll basically just put in an ounce of this, and that's it.
Gorgeous.
Done.
Super, super simple, and that's what this is about, right? I mean, you can find all kinds of different products to mix and blend with, which obviously is gorgeous, right? But it's about finding a tea and steeping it, adding a good quality honey to it, and chilling it, and then that's it. I mean, it doesn't have to be complicated, and this is what we keep talking about with iced tea, right?
It doesn't. And if you're able to get honey from your local beekeeper, that's if you can go to a farmer's market, that's the best that you can do. Instead of say, going to a big like box store, go to your local farm. Go to your local beekeepers, right?
So I'm not quite as passionate about bees as you are, but I do love my honey, and I'm like you. I don't buy your honey from a supermarket. You don't know honey until you bought honey from a local supplier or from like a farmer's market or something like that. It's a completely different flavor.
Totally, completely different. And the reason for that is that in your local area, the bees are pollinating the vegetation in your area. So if you have allergies, right, having bees that are pollinating within that area can help you with your allergies. Go local. Go local. Try around, but getting a honey that's local.
That's a really good point.
Benefits for you.
Yep, agreed. Totally. I'm obsessed at the moment with raw honey.
Oh, yeah. That's my way to go. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just, I love the creaminess of it.
Yeah, there's something that's just, especially if it's nice and warm and it's been like sunny, I get to have it right out of the hive as I'm taking it out, right? So I completely agree with you 100%.
I think we need a field trip. We all need a field trip to Amanda.
Oh, I can make that happen. I actually can.
Good.
Come to Prince Edward County. Come to Prince Edward County. I can make that happen.
I love Prince Edward County. You know what, Amanda? One of these days I may just knock on your door.
Oh, I'm excited.
Show us the first ones you made. I want to see the color. Love it.
Isn't that beautiful?
Ginger ale and sparkling water.
And that's it, right?
That's it.
So obviously, once again, you can have it as a mocktail or you can have a cocktail. Yeah. I would pair this with a white liquor of any kind. So today we have vodka. So there'll be some vodka going in these guys.
Perfect.
And that's
perfect.
That's it.
What gorgeous teas. So lovely to chat with you, Amanda. Thank you so much. Tell everybody where they can find your teas.
You can search my website, wickedbotanicals.ca.
Perfect. Or go knocking at her door in Prince Edward.
Or you've got to find me, right? Right in the middle of
Katie, who was just on before you, says she's going to Prince Edward County next week. So
let's
connect up, the two of you.
That would be delightful.
All right, Amanda, it's really good to see you. Enjoy the tea.
Ciao for now.
Bye. I've talked to a lot of people over the years, but I've never talked to somebody in love with bees, and that was so refreshing and so wonderful. As I said, I love honey. I've always loved honey. So I suppose actually, getting to know where my honey comes from and understanding it may be a project in my books at some point. My next guest is somebody who I've known for many, many years, but is the first time on ICE TV with us, and hopefully not the last. Stefanie Stozel was born and raised in Germany. And in 1998, she made a very significant life change by moving to Canada. With a solid background in accounting, she was prepared for a new chapter. However, one thing that she missed dearly from her homeland was the premium loose leaf tea she grew up enjoying. Finding it hard to locate similar quality teas in her new home, Stefanie began importing teas for her own consumption. This personal quest soon sparked a realization there must be others in Canada who also appreciate good quality tea. Fueled by this insight, Stefanie and her husband, Michael Schmidt, founded the Tea House in early 2000. They started modestly with just 3 shelves of tea and a single table for tea accessories. Their passion and dedication quickly attracted a loyal customer base, and their business began to flourish. Fast forward to 2024, the Tea House is now a beloved fixture in the community, offering over 250 varieties of tea. As they look forward to celebrating their 25th anniversary next year, Stefanie and Michael are proud to see their daughter, Julia, join the business. Hello, Stefanie. How are you?
Hello, Shana. Thank you so much for having us here today. And happy to introduce you to our daughter, Julia. So she's on 2nd generation. I can't believe it.
That is so exciting. First of all, it is so good to see you. And it's lovely to meet you, Julia. Thank you both for joining us. So your tea story on how you decided to do tea here is very similar, as you know, to mine. I moved back, this is my home, so I moved back from Germany, and same, really missed and loved the specialty tea shops in Germany. So
yeah, that's exactly how we started as well. Yeah. And I remember your first days in the tea business as well.
It's a hard road, but 25 years, good for you. Congratulations, hard work.
Yes, we are very excited, and we have big plans for 2025. So we'll keep you posted on that as well.
Oh my God, please do.
So today I did bring my daughter Julia, and she can actually show you how we make our iced teas here at our store. Our customers don't want them too sweet or too sour either. So we came up with a fairly good blend that seems to fit the bill for everyone. So
Okay,
I'll pass
fantastic.
it on to Julia.
Take it away.
All right. So the first thing we have here is our Turkish apple. That is a really nice citrusy blend. It's an herbal tea, so no caffeine whatsoever. We've already got it steeped here, but essentially what you want to do with this is as soon as it's all steeped and ready, you just pour it right into the ice there.
Julia, you're going to have to show everybody your very fancy tea maker because I love it.
It's fancy, isn't it?
It is.
We'll try to get it as close to you as possible.
Gorgeous.
That's why we are 2 people here today. So that's a design by a company called Haus. And I think we are all fairly familiar nowadays with the handheld tea makers that sit on top of the cup. This one basically eliminates the cup and has a small teapot sitting underneath. So you can steep the teapot for a long time up here. And when you're ready, there's a little release button on the back, and it strains directly into the teapot. So this is what we've done right now.
You know, there's nothing better than the Japanese and their designs, right?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. So you can see we steep it directly right on top of the ice. And the benefit is you're right away ready to drink the tea.
Yep.
Perfect.
Immediately it's ready to go.
Okay.
And what's nice with the Turkish apple too is if you want to add a little bit of color to it, we actually have some butterfly pea flower here. So this, a little bit goes a really long way. And what you want to do is you want to take some hot water, let it steep normally. Normally we suggest around 3 to 5 minutes. But it makes a really, really nice blue color.
Yep. Butterfly pea is really magic, isn't it?
So I'll bring it closer to the camera again, and then you can probably already see how it's starting to turn on the color.
Yep, it happens quickly. So Julia, the Turkish tea, the Turkish apple tea, is that a black tea base?
So the Turkish apple is completely herbal.
Okay.
What's in it is calendula flower petals. There is apple cubes in there. That's pretty much the extent of it. There is a little bit of a lemony flavor to it as well, which gives it like a nice citrus.
Perfect. Love it. Okay.
And with the butterfly pea flower, when it's done steeping, we just want to add it right to the Turkish apple or right into the cup too. And it makes a really, really nice purple color.
Look at that gorgeous color. It's, you know, butterfly pea never gets old, does it?
No, yeah, you can add it to any type of tea, and a lot of people like adding it to cocktails nowadays in the summertime as well.
Yeah. It's a really fun tea.
Second tea here as well.
Mm-hmm.
So our other one is a passion fruit tea. This tea is really nice. It's one of our newer blends that we have. There's chamomile in there. There's passion fruit flower. The base tea is going to be a Ceylon orange pico.
Okay, great.
And what you want to do with these ones is our customers like it a little bit sweet and a little bit sour. So what we do is we add 1 tablespoon of lemonade concentrate per liter. These jugs here are 2 liters, so I have 2 tablespoons here.
Okay.
It basically just gives it enough sweetness to take the tartness away of the tea.
Yeah.
When we make the black tea, we let it steep actually 5 minutes.
Right.
But we use 10 teaspoons instead of the regular 5 teaspoons for 1 liter. And so we have 1 liter of tea ready here, and a jug that holds 2 liters of ice and the iced tea. And you're already ready to go.
And the extra strong is because you're pouring it over ice, and that ice is going to dilute out the tea, right?
Exactly. The ice dilutes it immediately, reduces the strength of the tea, and the lemonade balances out some of the tartness. And it's usually our go-to recipe for any type of black tea that we're making. We have little recipe cards in our store that we hand out with the purchase. One side has the black tea recipe, the other side has the herbal tea recipe. For the herbal teas, you also use twice the amount of tea, and you let them steep about 10 minutes or so. So you increase the steeping time for those, but they don't get bitter at all.
And usually if you're wanting something a little bit sweeter in your tea, we do suggest using a little bit of honey or maple syrup, which is always nice.
Yeah.
With the honey though, what you want to do is you want to add it before you pour the hot tea in, just so that it melts properly into your tea.
And then you can obviously control it depending on how sweet you like it.
Of course.
Yeah. Love, love, love. Now the especially the first one, because it's herbal. Obviously you can do that. It's a really good kid friendly one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And what I love about the butterfly pea, as I said, you know, those colors never ever get old. But if you add a little bit of lemon juice or a little squeeze of lemon to butterfly pea, it actually turns from that blue, it turns into this beautiful purple color.
See, we actually happen to have a little bit of lemon here.
Yeah. It's,
so we can.
It's like a science experiment, isn't it?
So what used to be purple, dark purple.
Yeah.
I think you can see that the color already changed just by adding a little bit of lemon to it.
Yeah.
So it's always a nice experiment with the kids, and
exactly
free and a little bit of sweetness there. So that's always a big advantage for them. If you like, you can also add a little bit of fresh peppermint to either of these. So that's always something I like to do, just to add a little bit of other freshness that suddenly comes through secretly.
Yeah, no, that's fabulous. So tell me, Stefanie, you've 25 years, right? So you've definitely seen how people have gone from not understanding and knowing anything about the different types of teas, and what do you mean there's more than one type of green tea, right? And to this range of becoming a lot more educated and understanding a lot more about tea. What do you think has been the biggest change in the years that you've been in tea?
One of the biggest changes, I think, for one, people, I remember the first days, we were open for the first day, we were both there thinking, oh my God, we don't know, maybe we'll be inundated with customers, and people just kept walking by. But the consistency of being present every single day is something really important when you start your business.
Yeah.
And another thing that we always did is we always handed out free samples. So people had an opportunity to actually try something that they never experienced before. And we still do that to this day. So when you're coming in and you're not sure if you like a particular tea, we allow you to take it home with you. It's a sample enough for 2-3 cups, and people can experience something new. And then over the past 25 years, I must say the knowledge of the tea drinker definitely has changed a lot.
Yeah.
We've been importing our Japanese green teas directly from Japan for the past 15 years now. And I must say, from the beginning that we started importing the teas to now, we have gone through a big wave of customer education on Japanese green teas. They're a lot more knowledgeable now, and they're a lot more likely to try Japanese teas, because in the North American market, you start a lot of times with Chinese green teas.
Yes.
People are a little bit more accustomed to the taste, whereas once you move into the Japanese, really fresh green teas that we have, like we have a 2024 Shinsha and a 2024 Gyokuro. Those are flavors you have to adapt to at first. So it takes more time to talk to people about those things. COVID definitely has changed a lot as well. We're very fortunate. Mm-hmm. We already had a website. We were already doing deliveries. Yep. And when we closed the doors, at first we told our employees, well, you can stay home for a month and we'll pay you and we'll see what happens. But then the next day we opened our computer and we looked at each other and said, we have to call everybody back in. So we were very fortunate. Tea is a definite health and comfort thing for everybody nowadays. Yep. We very much appreciate all our customers that have been so loyal to us throughout COVID and all the years gone by. So we have some new surprises for you in store for 2025 for sure.
Well, you know, you're absolutely right. COVID was very good to tea. And I think that tea is good to people, which is why people were good to tea during, you know, some really, really difficult, I was going to say months, but that's not true. It was years. You know, we definitely saw a spike in tea drinking, not just in Canada, all around the world. And it was about that comfort. People automatically, they were drawn to tea. We actually did a survey on it. Kind of figured we knew why people were, but we wanted the facts and the numbers. So we did a survey, and that's exactly what the number one reason was comfort.
Yes.
And you know, it's something that if you don't even consciously understand it, I think that even unconsciously people were just automatically attracted. Mm-hmm. But you know, 25 years is a testament to what you are doing. So really, I raise my cup. It's empty right now, but I raise my cup to you.
Thank you very much. I'll share it later.
Quote up.
Thank you so much.
I really looking forward to seeing what you have in store next year. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Right. We are located in downtown London, Ontario, upstairs in the Covent Garden Market. So the upstairs is really important. Sometimes people are in the market every single day for 10 years and they never go upstairs. So just have a peek upstairs and you will find us nestled into a nice little corner.
You can also find us online at theteahouse.com.
That was my next. And online. Perfect.
For sure.
That was a generational thing, Stefanie.
Yes, I know. She's way on top of ahead of us, and she's also doing our Instagram. So you can find us on Instagram as well.
Perfect. That's the future, Julia. Keep it up.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, and it was good seeing you.
Take care.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye. Take care. Wow, second generation. I'm feeling old because I remember, you know, we started our businesses around the same time. So there you go. Really, testament to fantastic work that they're doing at the Tea House. Okay, my last guest today is a known favorite, Will Dixon. Will is the tea buyer at Taylor's in Harrogate, the home of Yorkshire tea. He's been with the company since 2012, where he started as a trainee tea buyer Will has traveled to many countries to visit tea estates: China, Ethiopia, India, Indonesia, Kenya, Malawi, Rwanda, Sri Lanka, Tanzania, and Uganda. Before becoming a tea buyer, he was a sheep farmer in the Scottish borders. It's always on there. I'm never ever taking that out of your bio. Okay.
I was waiting for it, Shabnam. Good evening, or good afternoon, should I say?
Well, good afternoon. Hang on. I'm so. Do you remember when I saw you? And sorry, everybody, but Will and I are just going to have a little chat on our own for a moment. So, do you remember when we saw you on the road in India, right? And
no, Nevada, Las Vegas, yeah. We had breakfast.
And at breakfast, and you pulled out a little baggie with your own tea. and Sharon and I said, "Yeah, we forgot to bring our own tea." So look what I was gifted.
Oh, yes, very nice. Yes, no excuses now, Shabnam. Oh, thank you for that plug.
To travel with my own tea. When I got this, I thought of you, and I thought of your little baggie, and I thought, Will needs one of these.
I'll speak to the marketing team.
Well, I'll
it always pays to carry good tea with you, Shabnam. You never know when you're.
I'll put in a good word for you, but it's perfect. It's a travel box.
Yeah. Great idea. Yeah, again, airtight, keeps the tea fresh. Perfect. A mini caddy.
Exactly. All right. So take it away. What are you making for us today?
Okay, going to start with a Thai iced tea. We don't see them much over here in the UK in the Thai restaurants. I don't know if they're popular in Canadian Thai restaurants, but we're going to start with that, essentially.
Yeah. Love Thai iced tea.
So looking back, I realised we've done this a few years now. I realised I hadn't actually done an iced tea with our Yorkshire tea product. So tonight we're going to use our Yorkshire tea bags. And we're going to start fairly simple. Essentially, this is for a 1 cup version. So tea bag in the cup.
Yep.
We're going to use some, well, here, can you see? I don't know if you can see the angle here. Don't know if we can see that very well. Yep. Star anise. Yep.
Okay.
Star anise. So again, lovely aroma, lovely taste. And then also a little bit of, again, can you quite see that?
Yep.
Cardamom. So again, the seeds from the cardamom. So just sort of traditional Thai flavorings, really. You could also add some vanilla, whatever spice you like, essentially. We're going to put that in add some boiling water and just brew it the way you would normally brew your tea. So generally, depending on how strong you like it, probably about 5 minutes for my own personal taste.
Okay, nice and strong.
But also into that, sort of generally, when this is made, they use sort of a Thai tea packet, which has these spices, the tea leaves in, but then they also add some food colouring as well. And again, from research, it sounds like they added the orange, or typically an orange food colouring, just to make it stand out from the other iced teas on the market. But tonight, I'm going to use some red food colouring. So again, I'm not going to demo this because playing around with food colouring on a live show, just a recipe for disaster. So pretend I've put a few drops, half a teaspoon of red food colouring in there.
Okay. Which you can obviously skip if you don't want to use food coloring, but anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing required there. But or even a bit of sugar, depending on your sweetness as well. We're going to add some sweet stuff later, but a bit of sugar in at that stage if you want the tea to be extra sweet.
Great.
So then after about 5 minutes, we're just going to strain that, put it somewhere to the side, and just let it. Sorry, I forgot where I've put it. Let it cool down. So I've done a pot here. You can see there. Hopefully, it comes across as red and not a.
It's red. I was just going to say you definitely put food coloring in that one. Yeah. Yeah.
So your own choice of colours. Obviously, it doesn't have to be red. If you've got preference to colours, or if you're drinking this on a sporting occasion, you can obviously dye it to the themes of the theme that you're actually drinking to or celebrating.
That is so smart.
So yeah.
Okay.
So any colour you like, obviously.
Okay.
Let it cool down to room temperature. Because the next stage is we're going to pour we're going to do a glass worth essentially. So I'm going to just pour it in the jug because we're going to mix it now. So pour some into a jug. And then we're going to start adding the milk components. So to start with, we've got, you might not be able to see the texture there, but condensed milk to start with, basically. So I'm going to add about a couple of teaspoons of condensed milk in.
Yep.
Again, the sweetness, and again, for those that don't use condensed milk in drinks. It's very popular, particularly in Asia, to sweeten drinks out there.
Yeah, it's very, very sweet and thick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, and then we're just going to mix it in. Not sure I've got enough in there. We're just going to do a little bit more. And again, so pretty straightforward so far. Nothing too complicated other than the preparation.
It's kind of a pinky color, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pink. So then I'm just going to skip a step briefly to save a little bit of time.
Okay.
So we're also, as well as condensed milk, which essentially is milk with the water component reduced and some sugar added, we're also going to use evaporated milk as well for the toppering. So
okay.
it might not look much difference there on camera. So we got the where are we? Sorry, can't find my camera. The condensed milk and the evaporated milk, which is similar but without the sugar. So just water, milk with the water evaporated off. And you can add that straight, but I'm just going to froth it today. So I'm setting the frother going on the side just to add that extra texture to the drink. So once you've got your tea mixed, we're just going to pour it over a glass of ice. Helps if I hold the stem, you'll see better there.
I love the color of Thai iced tea.
So there, fairly full. And then we're just going to have to be patient until the froth has done its magic, basically. So that's it so far. So nothing too complicated, just to prep, buy the ingredients, and then your own sort of unique.
I mean, it's black tea, condensed milk, and you're putting evaporated milk on top.
Yeah. And whichever spices you like, and like you say, you don't need to add food coloring. But yeah, I think I tried it without food coloring, but again, it didn't look too exciting for camera, so we added them tonight. But it obviously doesn't impact the taste.
No, the food coloring is a really good idea, especially I think if you're going to pop that into the fridge, right? It's I would think, like I've never done it before, but it would, because black tea in the fridge tends to become a little cloudy, right?
Yeah. So yeah, well, to a degree it will mask it, but yes, it will make it look more appealing to the eye, and obviously we taste with the eyes as well as the mouth and the nose, essentially.
Yeah.
So so there, so we've got the evaporated milks now frothed.
Yeah.
We're just going to pour it on top. Helps if I take the lid off the frother, pour it on top, and hopefully it has a nice.
Oh my God! Look at that!
So there you go, and eventually it'll start to seep down, and hopefully look quite tasting and appealing. But very, as we discussed, very sweet with the condensed milk. It is very sweet, but obviously traditionally had as a sort of after dinner dessert sort of drink. But yeah,
dessert, right? I mean,
yeah, it looks pretty good and not too complicated to make.
Super, super simple, and the layers are just gorgeous.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice. It's nice to play with some new ingredients. Again, I don't use condensed milk or evaporated milk, but just nice to try something new, experiment with those ingredients you may not always knew, but again, are pretty cheap and widely available.
Well, I think what I love about what you've done here is that there's so many different tea traditions in different parts of the world and different ways of making it, right? And British afternoon tea, and there's the chais from India, and matcha from Japan, ceremonies, etc. And Thailand, this is what they're known for. It's their ice, and it's not something that's celebrated as much. So I think it's a great way to show people that here's another way that somebody else in the world makes their tea.
And I know we've discussed it before, but it's just great. Whatever you put milk or water into, you can flavour tea. So milk tea will come through milk very well, particularly certain teas like an Assam tea helps cut through that milk. So any sort of ingredient recipe, be it a drink, be it a food that you add water to or milk to, feel free to just start experimenting and add some tea in there too.
Perfect.
We said that was pretty simple. This next one's probably the most straightforward thing I've done, basically. So it will only take a couple of minutes. I know you'll be keen to get away. You've done a long stint tonight, Shabnam.
No. So I know what this is. You have to tell everybody about this tea, because when this tea hit the market, everybody went crazy.
Yeah. We, for those that don't know, Yogi Tea is #1 tea company in the UK, and we wanted to try and get more black tea drinkers into the more specialty side as well. So we use this as a sort of mechanism to get some Yorkshire tea fans with very loyal drinker base to start drinking, experimenting, because there is a tea out there for everyone, for every occasion. So basically it's a Yorkshire tea base with some good Assam teas in there and East African teas in there, but we added a flavour granule. So in this case, a biscuit flavour granule. So we did a lot of work. Obviously, there's a wide world of biscuits out there to actually pinpoint what we wanted it to taste like. And it's got a nice sweet. And again, it's a strange one because depending on who you speak to, it reminds them of slightly different biscuits, to be fair. You've got the taste, you've got a bit of texture, you've got the aromas. So it's sort of a bit of a mixture. So I don't want to say it's this biscuit. It's a nice biscuit taste, which most people resonate with. And obviously, because it's tea and granule, it's 0 calories as well. So yeah. Right? Yeah, that is what it is to me as well. That's what it is to me as well.
McVitie's digestive, and that's that. So basically, for anybody who hasn't tried it, go and get your couple boxes of tea. Because if you've ever dunked a biscuit in your tea, you know what this tastes like.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you say, it flew off the shelves, and it from my side, the buying side, it caused a few problems when products on this. A good problem to have, but all of a sudden you've got to try and backfill the shelves and get plenty of granule order. So pretty straightforward. But I was pleased to see that, because obviously when we do this, I double check what we sell in Canada, and it was great to see that we could do something with this product. So a nice one. So again, very simple though. So all I did was basically got some milk, and again, you might not be able to see, but it's sort of got that tea color to it. So all I did was milk. I put about 4 or 5 tea bags in there, the biscuit brew tea bags, let it chill overnight and sort of infuse. So I did this about this time yesterday. So it's been brewing, let's say, cold brewing for about 24 hours now. So shortly before we came on air, I took the tea bags out, basically. So it's had that time to take on that tea and that biscuit flavor from the tea bags overnight. That's it, yeah. That's all I did. So that's it. So it's already a perfectly nice drink like that. If you drink flavored milks or milk, it's lovely. Okay. So you could drink it straight, but we're going to mix it with a bit of ice cream tonight as well, Shannon.
Of course we are.
But yeah, straightforward. Stick it in the fridge the day before, pull it out. I'll add the ice cream first. So again, we're just going to go with vanilla ice cream tonight because we don't want anything too overpowering flavor-wise. And depending how thick you like your milkshakes, depends on your ratio. But I'm going about 50-50, about 300 mils of ice cream, 300 mils of the infused milk.
So easy. Easy,
yeah. It's almost felt bad doing this one, Shannon, because it takes.
No,
so
I love easy. I love easy because this is, it's that's sort of the message that we keep banging home on about is that you can make something amazing and it doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah, and I think the easier it is, the more likely someone out there is going to try it as well, is what I think. So it's sort of get people to try. Sorry, can you hear me over the blender?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. So just bear with me. I'll just blend away. Pretend this.
No, it's fine. I've never. I mean, I've been teaching a lot of things, but I've never actually just done a cold brew in milk. I'm going to try it because that would even be delicious for your morning cup of tea if you like to put milk in, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Anything, yeah. So just add that flavor. Obviously, you get a lot. You can see from the supermarket shelves, the brands out there. There's all sorts of flavors out there. So there's no reason. Obviously, there's a wide world of flavored tea bags out there. So just pick your favorite flavor, essentially. And hopefully, this is blended. So there we go. And again, that's
gorgeous.
Pretty straightforward. It looks like a glass of milk on the screen. I apologize.
No, because it was a little brown. It was a little browner, right? The milk.
Yeah. So it takes some colours, and obviously, if you've got a different tea depends on your preference. But if you were doing this with a green tea, it'd obviously take on that green note. So it's the simplest thing you can do. And obviously, if you're keen to get people to say kids to get drinking milk, it's a good way to get them drinking milk. If you're adding it, you've got the sweetness from the granule, but no calories in there. So an excellent way to get drinking milk. Or even, it doesn't have to be cow's milk. You've got oat milk. It's easy to do.
Yeah.
Just stick them in the fridge overnight when you're doing your oats or whatever it may be overnight. Just do the same thing.
Easy peasy. I love how we've reached a point in society where we refer to milk. We refer to like cow's milk.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the default anymore.
No. Yeah. So lots out there. So your personal preference, and again, because you're not heating the milk, there's no real complications. I know with some alternative milks, heating them might not necessarily be ideal. So the fact you're just chilling something, stick it in the fridge, it's perfect. Yeah, perfect. You can do anything. You can make milkshakes. You can drink it. You could even put it on your breakfast cereal if you wanted, spice it up a little bit.
Oh my God, even better. I have done. Okay, so I've actually done. See, now that you say it, I've done cereal milk.
Okay.
So you know when you have your cereal in milk, your milk takes on the flavor of the cereal. Well, you strain out the cereal and use that milk.
Yeah, same principle. Yeah.
Now imagine putting your biscuit tea in with. Okay, sorry. Now you've got me going. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Your Cheerios or whatever it may be tomorrow, and again, great for kids. I'd lib in this, but great for kids. Okay. If they hooked on sweet cereals, you do this, no sugar. Yeah. You can get a plain cereal, make it taste sweet.
Fabulous. Well, it'll be in my box.
Thank you. Next time I bump into you, I'll make sure you've got it, Shabnam. Okay, I'll be checking up on you.
I promise. It's going in my travel package. So it's lovely to see you, Will, as always. Tell everybody where they can get your teas. I mean, where can you not get your teas? I think is probably the easier way of going about it.
Yeah, I think we're widely available now in Canada. We've done a lot more advertising back end of last year. We've had a few nice campaigns. So I think the trick is from our side. We know we've got excellent products. We pride ourselves on the quality of our products. It's just getting those people to taste them. Once they taste them, they love them and they keep buying them. So if you see it on the shelves and you've not already tried us, please pick up a box.
You must. You sponsored the Great Canadian Bake Off, which was a load of fun to watch and see. So thank you, Will, as always. It's really good to see you. And thanks for sharing some fun recipes with us. Thank you.
No, lovely to see you. And thanks again for having me on the show. And we'll hopefully see you soon.
Definitely. Take care. Bye, Will.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Fun teas. Fun flavors and fun blends. Some are more new, I get that. But again, as I said, this Thai iced tea, I love that Will did that because we are really overexposed to some ways that people drink tea around the world and not so exposed to others. So this is a great way to show you a different way that a different part of the world drinks their tea. So I thank you all for joining today's, Iced TV episode. And thank you to all my guests for sharing some wonderfully delicious recipes, some new ingredients, some not so new ingredients, some new methods, some not so new methods. As always, I hope that you've been inspired. Recipes as well as the episodes themselves are always available on our YouTube channel. If you scroll down, you will see all of the recipes always listed. I hope that you try some. I hope that you're inspired to make something new or maybe something that you haven't made in a long time. Either way, happy sipping, and I hope to see you again next week. Thank you.